Hi, boys and girls, it's Miss Holler. Today we're going to talk about time to the hour. So, what I would like you to do right now is go and get your math book and turn to page 593. I'll give you a couple seconds to do that. Put me on pause while you do that. Okay, so today we're first going to start talking about telling time to the hour. And if you watched a couple of my other videos that I did last week, we talked about some of the different vocabulary words. So let's review those really quick. First is, what can you tell me about what kind of clock this is right here? If you said that it's an analog clock, you are correct. Good job. This is over here, right here where my little arrow is called the digital clock. And remember, when we see the digital clock, this is the number that is the hour. Then these two little dots separate the minutes that are right here. So this is an analog clock, has hands, has a face of the clock, and the digital clock just has numbers. Most of the time we have digital and analog, but most of the time lately it's been all digital. So I would like you to go ahead and start today by filling in the numbers and the blanks in that clock for me. Can you go ahead and do that? Now it asks us, once you have that done, you can always put me on pause so that you can do everything. I just don't want to make the video really super long. So just if you need to ever pause it, just push pause and then you can start me back up. Okay, so it asks us to make sure that we draw our hands on the clock for 4 o'clock. So if we do 4 o'clock, we know when we hear the words o'clock, that means that our minute hand is going to point to the 12. That's always o'clock. Now, it's important for us to, when we are doing the hour hand, that we use the smaller hand and we point exactly to the number. So when you look at this screen, it says that it is 4 o'clock. My hour hand, which is the short hand, and my minute hand, which is the long hand. I always remember the difference between the two because the word minute, minute, has 6 letters, so that's long. The word hour only has 4 letters, HOUR. So that reminds me that the hour hand is the little one, and the minute hand is the big hand, the longer hand. So right down here in this little space right here, 4 o'clock. So we're going to type in the number. I'm going to type in the number 4. So your page should look like mine. That little 4 o'clock. Okay, let's move on to our second page. So turn the page, please. And let's take a look up here in my box. It says see and show. On an analog clock, the hour hand points to the hour. It is shorter. The minute hand points to the minute. It is longer. Remember how I told you the minute is a little bit longer? There's that longer minute hand, and hour is a little bit shorter. So this is showing 3 o'clock. And remember, anytime that it says o'clock, it's pointing to, the minute hand is pointing to the 12. This one is the digital clock. A digital clock shows the hour and the minutes on a screen. A lot of times, like in our classroom, in my classroom, we have 2, Mrs. Vogel's as well. I know we have Alexa. She always shows us that she has a digital clock. And then we have at the top of all of our classrooms and up in the, almost on the ceiling, not quite on the ceiling, just on the wall, close to the ceiling, has the analog clock. So now we're going to look at, it says use the clock and tell what time is shown and write the time. Well, we're going to use my little nifty clock that I have over here. So I'm going to put on the same time as you have for number 1 on your paper. Number 1. So the minute hand is at the 12. So that means that it is o'clock. And the hour hand is at the 9. So that means that it's in the 9 o'clock hour. So this is 9 o'clock. Take a look. 9 o'clock. Good. So now you're going to write a 9 in this box right here. And then we're going to do o'clock right here. So it says 9 o'clock. And then we're going to put one that says 9 o'clock right there. Let's take a look at our second one. Our second one looks like this, number 2. We know that the minute hand is pointing to the 12. So once again, it's going to be o'clock. And the hour hand is pointing to the 11. So what time do you think this says? If you said 11 o'clock, you are right. So we're going to go back to our paper and we're going to put in 11 o'clock. I'm going to steal these little zeros. There we go. Okay, so 11 o'clock. And then I'm going to put 11 down here. This is our last one where we're going to work together for right now. And it shows it. Oop, I'm going to turn this off so you can't see. Time goes around. Okay, so this is the same as number 3 on your paper. Where is the hour hand pointing? The hour hand is the shorter hand and it's pointing to the 6. So we're in the 6 o'clock hour. The minute hand is pointing to the 12. So we know that it's going to say o'clock. So we have 6 o'clock. So you're going to write that in 6 o'clock. And then you're going to write, oops, another 6. We're going to put that right there. So your page should look just like my page. Let's look at this talk math down at the bottom. It says, how is an analog clock similar to a number line? Any ideas why you think that it might be similar to a number line? Well, the way I think about it is if I would take that circle and I would stretch it out and I would cut it down the middle and stretch it out into a long, long string, I think it would look like a number line. It starts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and continues all the way till 12. So you could always use the clock to help you out when you're trying to figure out maybe some math problems. And you could use it as a number line. All right, let's go to page 595 on my own. What I would like you to do right now is I'd like you to put me on pause and I'd like you to try to pay numbers 4, 5, and 6 on your own. And then after you try those on your own, come back and I will have the answers for those ones. All right. Okay, so I hope that you have done all of your number 4, 5, and 6, and you have the same answers as I have. Mine are a little bit crazy out of the little spots, but I'm sure you did a little bit better than I did. Oops. Okay, so remember when you're doing the digital clock, the hour hand is here and the minute hands are, I'm sorry, the hour is here and the minute. Oh, my phone keeps buzzing. Sorry, boys and girls. The hour hand is right here and the minute hand is, or the hour is right there and the minutes are right here. All right, so now they were telling us to put down the times in the boxes. Now they want us to draw the hands of the clock and put it in the boxes. So I would like you to try 7, 8, and 9, where you have to draw the hands in on the clock and then write the digital time also on your screen. Okay, give it a try. Okay, boys and girls, so you should have 7, 8, and 9 done. 5 o'clock, where the hour hand is pointing to the 5 and the minute hand is pointing to the 12. Number 7 is 10 o'clock. The hour hand is pointing to the 10 and the minute hand is pointing to the 12. And number 9, 3 o'clock, where the hour hand is pointing to the 3 and the minute hand is pointing to the 12. Okay, next we are going to turn to page 596, and we're going to work on our problem solving problems. Your favorite, I know they are. Number 10, it first says, show the time on each clock. That's our direction. Number 10, Colin gets home at 3 o'clock. Evan gets home 1 hour later. What time does Evan get home? So if we start, it said that Colin gets home at 3 o'clock. So let's make our clock say 3 o'clock. And it says that Evan gets home 1 hour later. So if I take my minute hand and I go 1 hour, which 1 hour is when the minute hand goes one time all the way around the clock, this is when Evan gets home. What time is that? 4 o'clock is correct. So you go ahead and put 4 o'clock on this yellow clock on number 10. The minute hand should be pointing to the 12 and the hour hand to the 4. Number 11, basketball practice starts at 4 o'clock. Mark eats a snack 2 hours before practice. What time does Mark eat his snack? So we're going to start Mark at 4 o'clock with, he wants to have basketball practice then. Now for this one, we're going to have to go backwards because we want to know what time did he have his snack. So how many times are we going to have to go around for 2 hours? There's 1 hour. And here's 2 hours. So what time is that? It is 2 o'clock. So number 11 should say 2 o'clock is what time Mark eats his snack. Number 12, it is after 7 o'clock and before 9 o'clock. What time is it if it is exactly on the hour? Show the time on the analog clock face. So when you look at the analog clock face here, and it says that it is 7 o'clock, here's the 7. This is where it will be very helpful to use the clock as a number line. It says it's what hour is it between 7 o'clock hour and the 9 o'clock hour? If we used it like a number line, what number comes between 7 and 9? The answer is 8 o'clock. Good. Show it on this clock face. Please show 8 o'clock, where the minute hand goes to the 12 and the hour hand goes to the 8. All right, boys and girls, let's look at our last problem. What time is it when the hour hand is on the 5 and the minute hand is on the 12? We should know this. What time is that? It is when the hour hand is on the 12 and the minute hand is on the 12 and the hour hand is on the 5. What time is that? It should be 5 o'clock. And we know that because I'd like you to write your answer why you think that you know that. All right, I want to tell you that I have just a couple seconds left in our video. So I want to show you our last page. This is what your choices are to do for homework. In the packet, there's this paper that says time for spring. You may do that as your homework. You also may do page 597 and 598. Either one is perfectly fine. Just choose to do one or the other. Or if you're a wild animal, you could do both. But good job telling time to the hour today. See you soon.